Let us start this lecture with a thought process from Mahatma Gandhi, who says the earth, the air, the land and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So, we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. So, if you look at this, a very profound statement, and this is related to the environment consciousness, which is really very important for developing any technology and also using those technology. And if you look at our ancient Indian technology, they always were conscious about environment, and that we will see today. We will be discussing about basically environmental consciousness in ancient India. And what do we mean by environment, that we will see, but in this lecture we will be looking at why do we need to peep back to this ancient era, that I had already discussed in lecture 1 and lecture 2 to larger extent, because with the blatant misuse of the modern powerful technologies by the greedy people, we have spoiled the earth, and which is quite difficult for us to survive in long run. And therefore, we need to look at basically the environment consciousness, how we can adopt it in the modern time while developing our technology and also using them. And what we will see that how were ancient Indian concerned about environment, and did they have developed a lifestyle which was in rhythm with the mother nature? Does the idea of environment consciousness have its roots in ancient India? What can we learn from the environmental wisdom of ancient Indians? That we will see at the end of this lecture. So, what do you mean by environment? Environment, if you look at in Hindi, we call it Paryavaran. Its meaning is basically Pariavaran. Avaran means a basically enclose, right? And then it will be cover. That also protect the human being, animals, other things, and also sustain us. So, environment is very important for us. If you look at environment, can be basically divided into three kind in the modern terminology. One is abiotic, biotic and human society. So, abiotic means mountain, rivers, lakes, springs, sea, land, mines, any other whatever the things having no life, that we call abiotic. Those are also very important. As they do not have life, that does not mean that we will destroy them at our will without really understanding their presence on this beautiful earth. So, biotic, like animals, plants, insects and other living beings. If you look at according to our scriptures, there are 80,000 crores of jonis, means living beings are there. Of course, the modern science may not believe, but it is also a huge number, and all are having right to live in this beautiful earth, and that has been recognized by our ancestors. As you go along, we will see, and the human being is the one of the unique creature of the entire creation, because the human being control all the other things, is having capability to do that, that we have already seen. Therefore, it is very important for them to be conscious about environment, and there is a great relations between this abiotic and biotic, so that they can work unison without really spoiling it for the any benefits. So, if you look at this abiotic environment, as I told earlier, consists of mountains, rivers, lakes, land, sea and other physical geographical features found in this blue planet. And in our scriptures, we have repeatedly discussed about the divinity of all these physical features, which are basically being expressed in large number of artistic expressions found in the praise of relative scriptures like Vedas, Puranas and lot of other literary works that we could see. And one of the important scripture, which is basically the Arthashastra of Chanakya, which has dealt with the issues related to protection of these resources and what are the laws and policies he has spelled out and which are also relevant even today. Arthashastra is much objective in its approach to the environment issue than the other literatures which are talking about praising them and then how it is important they have talked, but this is more practical and which we will be discussing in the next lecture little bit more, and I will be also trying to give you some of the tenets from the Arthashastra today's lecture also. So, let us look at from the Rig Veda which says about abiotic environment. He says, I invoke the vast and beautiful day and night, heaven and earth, Mitra and Varuna, with Aryaman, Indra, the Marutas, the mountains, the waters, the Adityas, heaven and earth on the whole. That means this is the prayer which is being talked about. It is not that only the earth, even like air, water, Varuna means basically god of water, and heavens, Aditya means Suryas, right, sun. So, therefore, it is all combination which are very considered to be divine in nature. So, that has been coming from the basically Vedic era. And if you look at Arthashastra, it says about land. Land is regarded as an important resource, and a list of do's and don'ts have been prescribed regarding its management in Arthashastras. If you look at today, you will find land grabbers, they are just grabbing the land, particularly in India, where the land is a very scared commodity, like it is sought after. Earlier days, the land is divided into various categories, like particularly in rural areas, where the land will be meant for pasture, land is meant for having water bodies, and land is also for cultivation, and land for jungles or the forest, but today all have gone. It is today we are talking about land for industries only. So, industry is not bad, but that has to be a minuscule area which will be restricted, and then not that all the land will be given. The ideal Janapada according to Arthashastra is the one devoid of mud, stones, sultry ground, uneven land, endowed with agricultural lands and protected pastures, with the farmers devoted to work. But if you look at today, Janapada are devoid of pastures and devoid of agricultural land. That is the irony of modern day. So, we need to go back and then find out how we can protect the land and how we will use them, so that environment will be protected. So, that is a very important aspect what we can learn from Arthashastra. And if you look at farmland and mining land, of course, today a lot of minings are going on, so also industrialization. Industrialization per se is not really bad, but the way we are doing without really understanding is really quite damaging our environment. So, according to Arthashastra, cultivable land is better than mines, because the mines fill only treasury, while agricultural production fills both the treasury and storehouses. Therefore, our land is, our country is always an agricultural land, and we always go for the agriculture, because that is very important. Even our scripture says, Annat bhavati bhutani, means the living things you cannot have without food. Food is very essential, and so also the protect the environment in the process. So, it is also give importance, preferences to the greenery system, that is very important. Let us look at the Vedas. Vedas is one of the oldest scriptures which goes back to something 1500 to 500 BC according to historians. But I personally feel that it may be much older, that is the common belief among Indians. And Vedas are some of the oldest sacred texts available in humanity, and Vedas also contain hymns in praise of different physical pictures. For example, I have taken one this slokas which I encountered when I was doing performing the ritual when my father died recently. I got very much attracted with this. I will be trying to recite it. It may not be in the right perspective, but however, it is a great sloka what you can think of. Madhuvata rutayate madhukharanti sindhava madhvi na santu ausadi madhunakta uta ushasa madhumat parthivan raja madhudayo astuna pita madhuman na banaspati madhuman astu shurya madhvi gava bhavantuna. If you look at its meaning, basically environment provides bliss to people, leading their life perfectly. Rivers bless us with the sacred water and provides us health, night, morning, vegetation. Sun bless us with peaceful life, or cows provide us milk. So, everywhere you will find that madhu means basically it is the honey, that means it is the sweetness around everywhere in the environment. When you think about this thing and feel that what a great statement about, and we need to keep this legacy while interacting, while undertaking any enterprise, even including the technologies. So, that is the important which was being followed in ancient India, not damaging the environment, but you will have to use it to some extent. The way the honeybees takes out the honey from the flower without really affecting its own identity. But what we are doing? We are just sucking the resources of Mother Earth and spoiling it to the point of no return. So, therefore, we need to relook at it and taking the inspiration from these slokas. And if you look at the Prithvi Sukta, Veda indicates environmental consciousness of Vedic seers, and he has glorified the Mother Earth, and it is being talked about Mata Bhumi Putraham Prithibhyam, Mata Bhumi Putraham Prithibhyam. I am the son of this Mother Earth. So, that is the kind of feeling what ancient seers were having, and we should feel proud that earth is our mother. So, that way we should look at it, and the Mother Earth is called Vasudha because for containing all the wealth, and Hiranyaksha for having gold bosom, and Jagato Niveshani for being abode of whole world. If you look at the Mother Earth represents the whole world, that means it indicates our seers are the people who were written these Vedas, they were knowing that only living beings are on this beautiful earth, which can conceive the whole cosmos, the whole world. So, that was the thing what I can interpret from this, and Mother Earth is not for different races of man alone, but for other creatures also. This is a very important statement what our Vedas has talked about it. That means we should not think that man will rule over on this earth, rather man should be the protector of all the living and non-living animals, living beings in this beautiful planet, because being advanced in among all animals. So, therefore, this is the great statement what has been talked about in Vedas, and Mother Earth is called Visambara because she is representative of the universe. See, because that is also again says that it is the living things were there on this beautiful earth. Maybe it is the only planet where the living beings are still today, and it was also at that time. And till now, of course, people could not find any living organism on any other planets or any other place in the entire cosmos. So, this idea can be looked at it. And Vedic sages also know that mountains cause rains and fresh air also provide medicine. Parvateshu Vesajam, that is being talked about in Rig Veda. And there is a beautiful things in some other scriptures known as Devi Kavach. And Yavat tishtati bhumandalam dhatra sasaile banakanana tavat tishtati mediniyam santati putra pautriki. What this sloka or the says that as long as you are taking care of the sasaila means big ranges of mountains, and bana means forest and also the gardens. Tab tak, that means till that this mediniyam, like means this mother earth will be taking care of not only ourselves but our next generation. What a beautiful statement it is. And what we are doing in the name of development, we are spoiling the forest. I will be talking about when we started spoiling forest, maybe little in the next lecture. I will be giving some data, and also in the name of development we are just disseminating the mountain ranges. I have seen in my own eyes during my own life, people are making big buildings, concrete jungles, taking mountains and disseminating the mountains, spoiling the breaking the mountains. Mountains are disappeared from that place. You cannot develop a mountain. Can any scientist or engineer can say that I can make a mountain? Because you do not know where to place the mountain. There is a tectonic place movement and there is a things, and you cannot really do that, and if you do it will be disastrous. So therefore, it is being talked about by our ancestors not to destroy these things, rather take care of it, because these are the life givers and it protects the life. So that is the important thing which we should learn from that, not that swayed by the tsunami of the development what people are talking about. Rather we should go for a development of both physical, mental, spiritual and economical and social together. There is a holistic way of development we should think about, not the development what is being orchestrated by these greedy market forces, and we are a slave to them. Therefore, they gave importance to save mountain and said that it is better to live in the forest or mountains than in the villages. Forget about cities. Even our CS have tell that you should live in village. You may not live in the village, but you should rather live in forest or you should live in mountains. Unfortunately, our Adivasis who are the owners of the forest, they are being driven out by these stupid rules and regulation made by Britishers and our next generation rulers. So that is quite atrocious thing on them. And let me talk about abiotic environment which has been talked about. Atharvaveda, yad antarikhyang prithvi muta dhang yat matarang pitarang vajinghisim ayang tasmat gaya partya na agni rudina yati sukutasya lokam, and other slokas. If you look at the meaning is basically if we have injured space, the earth or heaven, or if we have offended mother or father, may the revered fire lead us from that to the world of their perfectly restored state. But today, if you look at, we are not really offending our father, mother. We do like this generation kids are doing too much according to me, what I have seen, and because they are educated enough to offend their father and mother, which are being prohibited in our scriptures. They are saying not offending the earth or heaven or the space, injuring the space. So that is being prohibited, and may Mother Earth, Aditi, our birthplace, brother atmosphere, save us from the imprecation. May our Father Heaven be well to us from the paternal guilt. Having gone to my relatives, let me not fall down from their wall. So, if you look at Mother Earth is being talked about, it is talked about Aditi, our birthplace, atmosphere is basically our brother, and father is heaven. You know, if you look at the way it is being described, it is really very great. That means the Mother Earth is our mother. So, that is a very important thing. So, therefore, we should not go against the Mother Nature. We are a part of it. We are being basically generated from the womb of mother. So, therefore, we need to have a very platonic relationship with the mother. So, if you look at the meaning of last verse is basically is to wish for a clean and unpolluted earth. That what we need today. Can we really make efforts to clean and save this earth from the destruction? And this destruction is basically man-made because of industrialization, because of this greed for the physical developments and what people are talking about, and the environment to which no harm or injury should be made. So, therefore, we need to protect the earth, that is very important, and sages warn us against the paternal guilt which may result because of injury to the environment, which protect us, which support us. So, we cannot really be like that whatever it support we will destroy it. That means, we are so stupid people that we are doing this kind of thing. So, therefore, we need to take care of it, and if you look at our scriptures like Vedas, Ramayana, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Puranas and Smritis contain earliest message for preservation of environment and ecological balance. It is not that we will not use the resources of Mother Earth, but we should use it sparingly, not like a demon without understanding will consume and spoil everything. Mother Nature has never been considered a hostile element to be conquered or dominated, but unfortunately, the objective of modern science and technology is to win over the nature, which is fundamentally wrong. So, therefore, we need to change this mindset. We are a part of nature and which is being talked about by our scripture. The man is taught to live in harmony with nature and recognize that divinity prevails in all elements, including plants and animals. So, this is a great things what we should imbibe and live a life for that. So, that is very important what we need to educate the people, and that is why I took this opportunity to at least discuss about it, and we should feel proud that our ancestors had talked about it and chided us not to indulge in such kind of things which will damage the environment. And the biotic environment we will be discussing now. This is basically consists of vegetation, of animal life, all the living entities are come under this biotic environment, and their protection and sustainable uses are very important for human society to prosper, because all are connected. Our scripture says, Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikhyate joko yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. That means, we are all are connected. So, all are in the part of the Brahman, in a God in English, right. So, therefore, all are manifestation of the God, therefore, we should not injure anybody, right. So, that is a very important aspect, but however, we need to use some of them for our things or without spoiling their entirety. So, in ancient India, much stress was given to protect forest, wild animals, aquatic life, also the domesticated animals. In this regard, Chanakya's Arthashastra has given a lot of guidelines. In the next lecture, some of them, and sometimes I will be also mentioning it sparingly. So, if you look at worsing of trees is as old as our civilization, rather it is much older than Indian civilization, as the tree was the first object to be worshipped not only in India, but other countries as well. Unfortunately, they have forgotten that, but we have as a living civilization, we have inherited and kept intact till today. Unfortunately, because of this modern education, some of the people are considering the worshipping of trees as a superstitious thing, which is really atrocious to think about it. And therefore, if you look at like it is having a glorious history, even like there is a lot of evidences in the literature and also the archaeological excavation. And what I learned, that a seal discovered at Mohenjo-daro, which is around 4000 to 3000 BC, depicts the Aswastha, which you call it people, all in this botanical name is Ficus religiosa, a tree being worshipped, right, even today. And today morning even I saw that people are worshipping a Aswatha tree in the morning, they give waters and other flowers also. Most gods and goddesses in India are associated with some tree, shrubs or creepers. And similarly, all 9 planets which are believed to control the destiny of humanity according to the astrology, what some of us might be believing, are associated with plants. See, look at how they have connected. So, the worship of trees in India is understandably, as the trees are not only provide shade in the hot scorching summers, food and medicine and fuel, but also the forest. Forest means there will be rain. As I told, Annat Bhavati Bhutani Prajjanat Annashambhav. That means the food you will get from the rain, and which was essentially purely agricultural economy. And agriculture is the only primary wealth of a man can have. The rest of the things are secondary, but unfortunately today people are giving more importance to the secondary wealth than that of the primary wealth. So, it is a very unfortunate present moment, but however we need to go back to our past and so that we can revive this thing. And the trees being beneficial to humanity, to protect them and become a religion for man, and the trees were converted into abode of spirits and Banadevatas. I will be talking about how this being considered, the forest was considered also as a god. And beside this, I will be also discussing later on that how these trees are connected, with various gods and goddesses form, so that people will believe and then they will protect it, they will not spoil it. If you look at Rig Veda, consider the cosmos as a 1000 branch tree, which is being described from the even Atharvaveda, Rig Veda, even it has come down to the Bhagavad Gita, which talks about the upside down of holy Aswatha or the people tree as a cosmos. The entire is represents. And it is not only that only the Veda, if you look at in Buddhist also, Aswatha tree was considered to be very pious, because of fact that the Lord Buddha got the enlightenment while sitting on the tree of Aswatha. So, therefore, it is important. Beside this, Mahabharata considers that one can worship the universe by worshipping the holy Aswatha tree. So, if you look at all these scriptures that we are not studying, but they are having a great messages which are today missing among the mass of our country due to the modern education and due to we are deviating from the life pattern what our ancestors had given and lived. So, if you look at it, is not only about trees, but even like about the animals, people have talked about. Hindu mythology believes in Dasavataras, right, and some people Dasavatara also considered as a evolution theory kind of thing, how this is evolved, the world things being evolved. And first is, if you look at it, has been codified in a temple like Gopapuram, temple Gopapuram of Dasavatara and Udupi, and which is around maybe something 700 or 800 AD it was built. And this first to fish, like first is Matsya, Matsya is basically fish, Kurma is tortoise, and Baraha is boar, and the Narsimha is a half man and half lion. And this signifies the divine forms such an animal that thereby making their life secure, and which has been part of the temple Gopapuram, so that it will be conveyed to the mass that they will be feel that all are part of sacred, and then they will take care of all the beings, not that destroy them. So, that is a very important concept. If you look at it, is the part of our life that is being designed and developed by the sociologists at that time, They are very great when I think about that. That is, if you look at a man may be taken birth in town or village or in whatever you call Janpadas, but whatever, and when they want to study and then lead a life of a brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is basically so that they will be educated to control the gyanendriyas and karmendriyas, and they means senses, sense organs, which is very important. That is the student life you can consider, and they will have to go to forest. I have shown here, they will have to go to a forest, and such that they will live there in huts and then have a good education. We are having Gurukul systems. Unfortunately, it is one of the best system of education according to me, but that is not there today, and where people will be living with the houses of the gurus, not like hostels, and they can do rakas in there. And then these people again will be, when their education is maybe over, then they will return back to the town and village, where they will be fulfilling their desires and contribute for the society, and then they will live in the town or village. And later on, they will be at the maybe age of 50, they will go back again to forest to serve the people and get detached from the life, from the day to day affairs of the life, and so that they will serve the gurukuls and then students and other people there, and then take a inward journey, and then again they will stay back and renounce. If you look at, this is the beautiful system of the ashram system, which was being devised by our ancestors. And if you look at the 3/4 of the entire life, if you consider 100 years as a span of human life, 25, 25, 25 each, but this is not digitally being followed that way. But however, if you consider 3/4 of life is being spent in the forest, that means they should take care of forest. There is no need to protect by these forest guards. So, this is not the system what we have taken from the western countries, and then there is a lot of problems. And of course, some of these Banavasis, others, they were living there also. So, therefore, we are a part and parcel of the forest life. It is not that we will have to create forest. And if you look at ancient literature and environment, like the Ramayana, Mahabharata describe the importance of forest, river, mountains and landscape, and Kalidas has described the beauty of ashrams, mountain ranges, fountains and so on. And it is there is a lot of scripture, I am just mentioning some of them, like Sangam poets of Tamil Nadu and then southern part of our country also use hills, forest, river, sea, etc. as a similitude in their poems. And Panchatra stories are based on animals' character, which are really very good for kids to develop a sense for the ethics. And if you look at, there are several Puranas, total 18 Puranas are there, but I will be not talking about it, but I am just give you glimpses of it, or maybe tip of iceberg. That is, Baraha Purana states that about environment, that he never goes to hell who plants an aswastha or a pichumarda, that is a neem, and or a banyan, or a 10 jasmines, 2 pomegranates or 5 mangoes. These are the trees which are very important for our life, and it is having a lot of Ayurvedic medicinal values. So, it has to be planted. And Skanda Purana says that bilva trees should be planted at the center, 4 other bilva trees on its 4 sides, in the 4 corners of 4 banyan trees and 25 asoka trees in a circle, and a myrobalan tree which is known as amla on one side also should be grown. I do not know why they have made so elaborate thing, one has to find it out and do some research to why they have talked about. See, each statement of these things should not be taken dogmatically, but rather it should be interpreted scientifically. And let us look at, it is not only is a part of the scripture, it was also being declared or propagated through the temples also. The temple was the learning center where the mass of the people will be being educated or were being educated earlier time. If you look at the sacred groups of Manarasla, Sri Nagaraj temple in Kerala, where the snake, cobra is being worshipped and also in the stone form or the statue form, and the sacred groups where the trees and plants grow wild and undisturbed. These are the banas which are there, and it is in each village in earlier days the sacred groups locally known as various names, like in Tamil Nadu the sacred groups locally known as Kovil Kadugal and this Kavu in Kerala, Daivabana in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, Devabana in Odisha, Deuri in Maharashtra. Each village was having a sacred groups where the trees and other things being planted and also being protected, and people were not allowed to move into unless occasionally for doing some pujas. This was a part of each village. And in each temple there will be sacred tree. There is a lot of trees will be there, but some of them are being worshipped. For example, like if you look at the Gaya, Mahabodhi tree is considered because the Lord God Buddha illumination here. And similarly, if you look at Sthala Briksha, the most of temple have at least one sacred temple, as I told earlier, and people always feel very good to have meditation under the tree. And very important thing I would like to talk about, like in summer in Odisha there is a Bishuv Sankranti in which the water pitcher is being placed on the top of a tulsi plants because to protect it from scorching sun, so that the water will be dripped from that dripped over from this pitcher and slowly, so that it will be water all the time, it should not be dried up. And this was being basically observed by these Israel people, and they developed the drip irrigation technology. And the drip irrigation was there in our country because people were using in some gardens and other things, but we did not commercialize it, and that was a very important thing. There is a lot of technology which were there, and today it is being recycled to us as a big name, and we are getting fascinated by that. And special care for special trees are being talked about in Arthashastra and other scriptures. Harming the trees planted in holy shrine, penance and groups, cremation grounds was heavily penalized, because even in the cremation ground there will be also trees. Today you will not find, and heavy fines for harming trees at boundaries, sanctuaries and also to prominent trees were given, so that people will not dare to do that. The law and order is very important. So, if you look at Tulsi, people, Batabrikshas have great importance in Indian culture and also in Vedic literature. It is going on from that time, and it was also prohibited to cut Batabrikya because the gods live in this tree and no disease where this tree is situated, and this is being talked about in Atharvaveda. And beside this, in Bhagavad Gita also says Aswatha Sarvabrukhyanam, that means among all the trees Aswatha is the best tree was to be. And it is nowadays people, some of the people are thinking that the people and Batabriksha consume more carbon dioxide from the air and give us more oxygen, thus the balance in the air is maintained, which need to be re-established decisively with more scientific data. It is not that we will just talk about it, we need to conduct experiment and prove that it is right. So, therefore, all these rituals, all these things has to be re-looked at with a modern eye and try to see that how it will be useful. Matsya Puran says that 10 wells are equal to 1 step well. We will be talking about step well, basically big well, and 10 step wells are equal to that 1 pond, and 10 ponds are equal to 1 child, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. So, therefore, the importance of tree is being emphasized in these Puranas. So, also the water bodies. So, in some marriages, of course, some parts of the country, bride carries few sampling and animals to the bridegroom's house. I remember my wife had brought 3 trees, one is banana, other is mango, and other tree is basically about tulsi. So, that was the trees which were the rituals, and even like at that time both of us had planted those things on our backyards, and people plant trees on occasion of childbirth in some parts of the India, which is of course not being followed, because a lot of new rituals are coming, birthday party, and then we are forgetting these our rituals. And Bel, Rudraksha and Bar are considered dear to the Lord Shiva, because some of the things are being always attached to some god, and Sala and people to Lord Vishnu, Kadamba to Lord Krishna, mango to Lord Hanumana, Asako to Kamadeva, seal cotton to the goddess Lakshmi, coconut or seaflower to Varuna, the lord of waters, to many other gods and goddesses. I will be also talking about that, that it is really being integrated with the belief system, so that people will be taking care of the trees. So, that was a very important thing what we need to look at it, because that was a part of it. Let me talk about the Vamana Purana, which says that how it was being basically, that all these plants and then trees are connected to be certain gods, like it is connected how it was being evolved. And of course, it may be looks to be little mythological in nature or maybe kind of thing, but if you look at the realm why it has been done is really very great. Lotus is from Vishnu's navel, and Kadamba from the forepart of the hand of Kandaripa, and Banyan, that is the Ficus galenesis, from Manivadra, the chief of Yakshas, and Datura is being evolved from the chest of Shiva, and Khadira from the middle body of Brahma, and breadfruit is generated from the body of Vishwabarman. Karchi flowers is being generated from the palm of Parvati, and Sindhu Vriksha from the temple of Ganesha. Palasha is from the right side of Yama. Udambara is from the north south side of Yama. Bamboo is from Skanda. Skanda is basically son of Shiva, Lord Shiva, and Aswastha is from Ravi, and Sami is from Katayini. Bilwa is from Lakshmi, and reeds from the lord of serpents, and Durva is from Basuki. So, if you look at like lot of plants, lot of trees or the other kind of things are connected to certain gods, and they are also basically being considered as important, because gods were considered to be important, particularly in earlier days. Today we do not believe some of them, but which is very important for sustaining a peaceful life, because according to me in modern days God is much important than what it was earlier, because we are having lot of worries and lot of tensions, lot of other things. So, it is very important to have such kind of faith. Let me just talk about that how it is not that they have connected with the rituals, how it will be followed and practiced in day to day life is being basically talked about, integrating or developing or invoking the festivals. Because if you look at, there are several rituals were being celebrated earlier days, and some of them I am just trying to jot it down, such that how these trees and then worshipping of trees and other things are integrated with the life through the rituals. Unfortunately, today the rituals are being replaced with the western rituals like birthday party and then marriage anniversary party, all the parties, Valentine Day and lot of things, but however, it is not related to the environment, not related to the life, it is artificial just to propitiate the market forces so that they can make business. But our ancestors had also used similar techniques, or I can say the methodologies, to integrate the reverence and for the environment and also to protect the environment through the rituals. Let us talk about Amla Ekadasi, which is being celebrated on the 11th day of the Falguna Sukla. A lot of people may not be knowing this month, because all of our are aware of English month. And what is being done is that you will have to take bath with water soaked in amla, this fruit, and which is good for health, because at that time the amla comes up and then you will have to eat it, and it is having a lot of resisting power, worshipping it, and worship of the Radha Krishnas. Of course, this is connected with the religions or some rituals, but all are these are good for health. And Amra Puspa and Bhaskana Brata, and in this first day of Chaitra Sukla, where the mangoes will be coming up, and it is very important to eat mangoes because of to avoid the sunstroke. And that is being ritual is being that eating of mango blossoms and worship of Kamadeva. There is a also, if you go to Ayurveda, the Pitta will be increasing, so we will have to decrease that. So these are all integrated, the rituals with the life, with the season, with that thing. That is the important point you should see. Asoka Pratipada, first day of Chaitra Sukla, the only women worship the tree. They also observe the fast seeking longevity of their husbands and their family members. Bakula Amavasya, Bakula flowers are offered to men and seeking their blessings, and when you say that, it is also a part of their medicinal values. Bata Savitri Brata, Jyeshta Purnima day, the married women worship the Bargar tree, that is basically Bata Vriksha, by circumambulating and tying with the sacred protective threads, Raksha Sutra, listening to a sacred Savitri Satyavan story. And this is about basically have a good relationship between them, not that quarreling the way the woman is quarreling with man, so also vice versa. So, to have a bond in the family, they do that, and also I guess there might be something with this tree which will be important for our life. Those kind of investigation is required from the Ayurvedic point of view, not, and also you can prove with the scientific. So, Bilva Triratri Brata, on Tuesday of Jyeshta Purnima, when the constellation is Jyeshta, worship a bell tree for 3 consecutive nights as per the Hemadri injunction in the Skanda Purana. So, one has to also look at like what is the implication of this, and then people will be having this, all these fastings are being done to control over their sense organs, which is very important for having a good life. And Shravana Krishna Ekadasi, in this the ceremonial offering water to the bell tree is being done, because bell is very important for the health, and then it is very good for stomach. And similarly, Vilva Nimantrana, Ashwini Shukla Sashti, summoning the tree goddess and worshipping the Devi. Of course, these are all being incorporated so that people will take care of Bilva tree. And Bilva Saptami, Avina Sukla Saptami, a twig of bell bearing 2 fruits is offered to Devi, so that people can take, maybe people starting taking Bilva leaves and other things for their health, this thing. And Kadali Brata, which is Baisakha in the Magha of Kartika Sukla Chaturdasi, banana tree is being planted, nutshell till it bear fruit. If you look at that these trees will be growing at that time. So, that is also implicated when you will have to plant, where not to plant, all those things are related. So, this is all part of these rituals are basically part of life. Kevadatis, Bhadra Sukla Tritiya, soliciting unbroken married life, women offer Kevada leaves to the Lord Shiva, and this again to integrate and also to have a good married life, because married life is very important for sustaining the fruitful life and peaceful life. Sitala Puja, in which basically it is for the neem tree, that is Chaitra Navaratras, goddess Sitala, who is said to be reside in the neem tree, is prohibited ritually, propitiated ritually. The Pat Goshai festival in the Bengal means neem tree worship. In various places different names will be there. Neems have eaten on Vaishakha Sukla Saptami, because neem is good for health, and you should not eat neem all the time. There is some period during which you should eat, that will be beneficial for your health. So, I will conclude this lecture by making some few remarks, that we have seen how that to protect the trees and then rivers and then other things are a part and parcel of our culture. So, therefore, we need to look at Indian consciousness as always respected, worship majesty of Mother Nature from time immemorial. So, it is much before than the Vedic period according to me, even much before the Indus Valley civilization or Indus Saraswati civilization. With advancement of modern market manipulative science and technologies, common people became enemies of mother nature, along with the government, along with all people became enemies of the mother nature. And that is the thing what we are doing. And we are saying we are civilized, we became uncivilized, not taking care of the mother nature. We need to look at our old rituals, reinforce with rational thinking and interpretation, while integrating the environment consciousness in day-to-day life, not celebrating the World Environment Day. See, if you look at World Environment being celebrated since 1972, but what has happened? The environment is getting deteriorated, spoiled day by day. So, that should be in part of our life, and modern man should take shelters in the abode of mother nature while integrating lifestyle in harmony with mother nature. So, also that developing technology so that it should not spoil the mother nature. So, with this I will stop over here. Thank you very much for listening, and in the next lecture we will be discussing about the environment policies in the ancient India. Thank you very much.